Welcome back to another episode of We Are VR Troopers. Last time, Cheetah has actually tested out her new abilities that was an experimental VR armor created by Tyler Steele. And with it, she was able to escape with her life from the sete that actually saved her from drowning to her super speed, which could kick up to 60 miles per hour within a few seconds, much like a cheetah. And also, much like a cheetah, she had some very awesome VR armor. Meanwhile, mutants are falling during the war, and unexpectedly enough, the professor's lab has actually been bombarded by Grimlord's forces, and the troopers are in it, especially Tyler. How will they escape? Well, let's find out, shall we? Let's hope Grimlord won't get the upper hand. This is definitely one of the most dramatic chapters I have ever made. So if you guys are sensitive, I suggest you leave now, because there's going to be a huge casualty in this. And if you guys know VR Troopers, you know how deep that's going to be. Alright, episode 96, Heart Attack. The four troopers, along with Galileo and Tyler, were trapped within Horatio Hart's lab. The professor warned that General Ivar and Colonel Icebot had infiltrated the vicinity, and they were being surrounded. The red lights kept glaring as the hapless occupants felt the ground shake beneath them. They could immediately tell this was no earthquake, as sparks rained down on top of them. They shielded their faces upon the impact. There were also some pipes that burst and were emitting smoke from all sides. "Professor, we're sitting ducks here!" "Troopers, you must escape." Even he couldn't believe this was the end. "We can't go without you! We've got to take the fight outside!" "We're encased inside. The door is locked shut. We can't exit through here." "You must all transform. It's the only way to protect yourselves and evacuate." Everyone was a complete shock, as they couldn't take their mentor with them when the layer falls. Tyler and the others, he was like a technological mentor, and they must fend for themselves on their own. "You must all win this war and stop Grimlord. The time is now. Good luck. And goodbye." With a heavy heart, Ryan led the team to change into their VR avatars. One by one, they morphed. The first was Ryan, then Caitlin, next JB, and finally Cheetah. "Go now. Use your teleportation, JB." He reluctantly activated the vortex command, taking Galileo, Tyler, the troopers, and the enemy squads outside with them. By the time they emerged onto a barren field in virtual reality, they vowed to avenge Hart's demise, and they realized that everything but the knowledge of the troopers, as well as JB backups and their powers via virtualizers, were gone. Even Caitlin's flying automobile, she reckoned. "Excellent work, Avatar! Ivar," Grimlord said with glee within the dark fortress. "We have taken the heart of the troopers' abilities. Soon enough, without their precious mentor, they will be defenseless. and I shall soon rule all of reality and win this war. No one can stop me! While the lab was collapsing, the remaining heroes met up with the Imperial Army, as well as several surviving mutants behind enemy lines. Several missiles were fired straight at them. Cheetah, get my dad and Galileo out of there! She nodded, and Tyler pointed toward a rock mass for them to hide. He said it was fortunate that cheetahs were capable of blending into their environments. Noticing the ravaged tank leading the pack, the warrior commented, "Well, well, well, if this isn't our..." wrong voice. "Well, well, well, if this isn't our old nemesis Ivar. I'll be more than happy to stomp on those bugs. No, damn it. I'll be more than happy to stomp on those bugs. VR Troopertron command, now!" Caitlin activated the prominent weapon. Via the sky base, the front rotated around to come the legs, blah, blah, blah. Female trooper leapt into the cockpit and she was ready to roll. It shot out eye beams onto the enemy fleet. As they retaliated, it was able to catch the fired upon missiles. It also tended to destroy tanks by stopping down upon them. The heroes knew that it stands a chance against Ivar, even swipe its tank with a kick, though she had her hands full with the aerial ships. They were too quick for Caitlin to punch with the Troopertron, so Ryan and JB lent a hand. While the combat was going on, Tyler fled with Galileo and Cheetah. Meanwhile, JB used his VR Techno Bazooka in conjunction with Ryan's VR Shoulder Cannon. Together they easily blasted the Grimstars, the battleship, and the virtual fighters into smithereens. "That'll stop them. These guys are dropping like flies. I'll use the battlecruiser to finish Avatar. Great, I'll check on my dad and the others. Good luck, you two." He also pondered to check on the professor now that the battlefield was being cleared out. Unbeknownst to them, Cheetah activated her super speed command as she led Galileo and Tyler away from the intense battle. It was like a ride as they were being tugged by her. "I'm detecting no signs of danger, although someone is coming, from about 10 feet, closing fast." Galileo chirped as he turned his head. Just then they heard a voice belonging to a tenor of sorts. Sure enough, it was Ryan. Tyler and Cheetah were relieved he returned safe and sound. "How are the guys? Are they winning?" "So far. We still have General Ivar in our six, though. I hope we're not too late to save the professor. We have to get you all back to reality." "Hang on. Grab Galileo, Cheetah. You remember how to return, don't you?" "I think so. But Ryan, I don't think there'd be much to salvage for..." But he wasn't able to finish his statement as they were being materialized. "Let's do it. Follow my lead." He didn't want to hear what his elder was saying. Cheetah obliged and he activated the way back to Earth. Meanwhile, the battlecruiser was having a tough battle against Ivar's ravaged tank. Eventually, JB was able to push it over a precipice, making the tank tumble on the way down. The assassin was trapped beneath the wreckage, being pinned down by the demolished body on his legs. He was barely able to see the Troopertron march up to him, standing an astonishing height like an ant meeting a Tyrannosaurus. "Time to put you away to the scrapyard for good, Avatar Ivar." Caitlin kept walking closer to the ravaged tank, raised the Troopertron's foot, and squashed the doomed vessel like an annoying fly. Both troopers didn't notice a certain mutant was watching over the whole ordeal. "Whoa! This is even better than smashing a souffle. They look good doing it." So much for the cavalry, late as usual." "Caitlin, how are we doing?" She walked up to him without her prized appliance. "So far, so good. That'll put a stop to General Ivar. Let's hope it's for real this time. That'll show what he did to the professor. I hope we're not too late, lest we forget Colonel Icebot." Suddenly they noticed the large army quickly running up and down some rises. They were still heading their way with their bone clubs and weapons raised. "The skeletons? Are they after us?" "I guess they hadn't forgotten about that protest they were planning." He knew all too well. few weeks ago, there was this incident when Caitlin looked through a mirror. It was like any ordinary mirror that was delivered to her, but something dire was set afoot. Again, Caitlin threw the looking glass. Gazing into it, there was her avatar. The original's body was fading. Ryan and JB were flabbergasted over the new Caitlin's erratic and volatile behavior, as was Cheetah and especially Snake and her kind. They volunteered to destroy all the delivery trucks filled with those accursed mirrors, which of course were operated by Scugs. While the double eventually decided to side with the troopers after being reasoned by Ryan with a hair of having him and the lab destroyed, she eventually joined with the original's body and became a cooperative copy since then via VR Trooper double team. However, Snake was still scarred by the incident so deep that she established a revolt against her. She was still on the trooper's side, but just hunting and willing to destroy that single one. I guess that's what they call a split personality. Kaylin and JB noticed the ruckus and braced for the worst. Snake and the rest of the skeletons met up and they were about to rush into them. But, in her native tongue, the mistress ordered her scary army to a stop. Everyone just paused in their tracks. Snake's crony Dead Hand was the first to speak as they lowered their weapons. Come on, Snake! What are you waiting for? Get her! She's the one we want! I'll use my confusion on her to make those slick matters so much easier. It was dripping with venom. Relax, Razors! I'll deal with her myself. The troopers prepared themselves for an assault, but something was amiss. It was almost as if Snake's memories just came back to her as fast as her cronies were going. Caitlin, I don't have any means of attacking you, nor sending you to the unfortunate grave diggers. I changed my deceased mind, and I realized a living friend is less boring and more valuable than even my golden bone. We were just so consumed over our rage, until we remembered who you really were. We were wrong. I was wrong. I hope you can forgive us for our misunderstanding. We were blindsided by all the bloodshed that we have endured, and we wanted to send you and your double to the graveyard as soon as we found out about you going berserk and working for Grimlord. We thought you'd be an enemy. More like Grim Reaper. I wish he would send him to Hellfield and never rise again. We weren't so thrilled about your doppelganger either. We'll fight by your side again without any repercussions. He looked toward her partner, then back at Snake. All right, we'll let you fight alongside us. We're certainly glad the undead mutants are on our side. Okay, but no cheap shots. If you pull a fast one, you got me to deal with. What a decaying deal. Psych! You really think I'm gonna shake hands with a live trooper? Both heroes forgave the army and joined in on the fight against the remainder of Grimlord's Imperial forces. Ryan, Tyler, Cheater, and Galileo emerged several miles away, and the troopers returned to their retro forms in unison. Each took a sigh of relief. She rested on a rock close to her. I'm so glad you guys are all right. I'm so glad you guys are all right. The war's getting rough out there. Me too. But we're not out of the woods yet. Tyler told Cheetah to go with Galileo and take it to Tao's dojo for safety reasons. He said the mutants would meet up with her shortly, as they would go to the location where Zictor Industries stood. Location confirmed. I'll lead Cheetah straight to it. She won't get lost, just several miles east. Good. May luck be with both of you, and don't forget to contact us in your VRVT if anything wrong should happen. Be careful. I will. Bye, Steels. While they were immersed in the battle plans, Ryan's memory of the professor's demise came back. As Cheetah and Galileo left, Tyler noticed his son heading toward the old wrought bridge, desperately calling the professor through his own gadget. Though there was no reception. Ryan, wait! Hey, What took you so long? Dark-named alien named Gangrene greeted Cheetah and Galileo. You guys are as slow as a drogger. I never thought a youngin' in a robot would move like a 100-year-old tortoise dying from old age. Guys! Thank goodness! She ran up to them. Tyler said you guys would show up. After hearing the choppy and short explanation, they agreed unanimously to infiltrate Victor Industries. While it was risky, Cheetah decided to morph into her VR armor. You know, it's kinda weird, but I think Galileo looks very much like R2-D2. After that statement from Cheetah, the mutants pondered for a bit before they gave it a sneer. Galileo spoke in a nervous manner as to why they were looking at it strangely. And just like that, they went all over the small robot. After several moments, it turned out they gave it a makeover similar to the outlook of the Star Wars counterpart. Well, how does it look? Not too shabby for a living being. You better have taken extra care with that liquid. If it should go into my circuits, relax, trash can. We did what we could. It's no different than dissecting a zombie. The little elbow grease to lift it back on its wheels, they were ready. Tyler kept calling out his son's name and followed him beneath a bridge. After treading a short distance, he suddenly saw him sulking as he was sitting on a nearby rock. From the looks of it, he was nearly devastated, for the professor and his lab were completely in shambles. The large dim pieces of the triangular arch were the only things that was left. Tyler slowly approached Ryan and then he murmured, "Why did he have to go, Dad? Why did Grimlord finally achieve what he failed? Why now?" Tyler squatted next to his moping kid and laid an assuring hand on his shoulder. He really needed to listen to his words of wisdom in a heart-wrenching time like this. He needed us to win this fight, Ryan. He knew we couldn't escape such a horrible fate. We shouldn't mourn for long. He's depending on us. If we're to defeat Grimlord, we will finally find peace. He shouldn't die for nothing. Clearly there was something that Grimlord had been longing to do. He succeeded, knowing this was the heart of all their VR efforts. Teller warned Ryan that acting on revenge would only make the circumstances worse. He mustn't let his resentment for Grimlord consume him, even though this was actually the first time Carl himself was able to murder someone in cold blood. Just then, after hearing those driving words, Ryan's hand became a clenched fist as tight as an airlock. He slowly rose. "I will avenge you, Professor Hart. I swear I'll destroy Grimlord after what he did to you." He took in some deep breaths. He said he's the only one who must do this. He shall take the fight directly to the evil tyrant himself. Against his dad's wishes, Ryan transformed again. He then somehow immersed himself into a dark, cavernous cave, which seemed awfully familiar to him. Hearing a familiar, distinctive cry, "Gary!" He followed the sound and eventually saw his alien partner, Razor Kid. The dragon caught up with him, saying that he saw his best friend emerge here, and after the recap, he offered to join in and share his vengeance. The trooper even said, "If I should get captured, then so be it. I welcome the chance to deal with Grimlord face to face." So you decided to challenge him without fear nor hesitation. Clearly this is personal. His close ally nodded in determination. I have seen you walk the path of revenge before. His mind shifted back as he remembered the moments when he did just that. From desperately searching for his old man at the cave in the virtual dungeon, to standing up to Decimator in a burning blood-fueled rage, as Tyler was Darkheart. The latter was something he told him about. Nevertheless, he had been with Ryan through bad and worse. His psyche then returned to the present. It's one thing to dominate a whole world, but it's another slick and diabolical manner when your comrades in the world itself will be dominated. I'm with you, Ryan! Razor Kid slapped his hand and they gave each one a strong grip. They then headed off to dangerous territory side by side without any means of looking back. This was undoubtedly one of the hardest scenarios I came up with since I started writing this. The truth was, I never wanted the professor to go. It's not like I hate him in the lab. Far from it. It's just, if the series should go on into the new millennium, would the lab still be necessary as far-fetched as it is? I mean, yeah, this was made when VR was a wave of the future. Now it's so archaic. So I was thinking that it might be best to let Professor Hart no longer suffer under Grimlord's conflicts. Only his mind survived when he first encountered her, after all. It's like out with the old and in with new and more productive ideas. Like a forest fire whose trees get destroyed, but if given the chance, they can grow back better than before and becoming more fire resistant, like as an opportunity for advancement as sacrificial as it is. Aside from these other dark moments, I also made a brief reference to the Season 2 episode Caitlin Through the Looking Glass. I always wanted to make that joke Blood Clot made, but in all honesty, I did not like the incident itself. Sure, Caitlin got an upgrade like Ryan did, but having the doppelganger around just irked me. It also made me worry that she might succumb to the effects of a split personality. So another chapter done, and I think this is where the story would branch out into two separate guidance, much like ending it all. I'm gonna need a lot of time to work on them, no doubt still recovering from making the decision on losing Professor Hart. When will the next episode be? Well, we'll wait and see. Till then, this is the Ecron Writer signing out. And I hope I won't get in trouble for this.